All right, hello everybody.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Refinement. This is our Tuesday live.
Make sure your mic is on.
And I want to talk about the death of a reselling squirrel. You guys have been maybe following me for a long time. Maybe you're new here, but I currently resell on the platform Whatnot. But I'm known on YouTube as sort of an eBay guru. And I've sold on Poshmark, I've sold on Mercari, I've sold on all the platforms. But I can tell you at this point in my career, the reseller squirrel is not alive and well. He's very much dead. I have 2 different warehouses that I work out of right now. And today's a live Q&A, so I hope you guys have questions because I feel like what I'm doing should have a lot of questions from people, but maybe not. So right now I have 11 employees and I have 2 locations. And I bounce between the 2 locations and give instructions. That's my main job. And I was just talking to my videographer before the video, and I have 2 NPCs that work at my company that only follow the instructions perfectly, and when the instructions stop, they just stop. And it has helped me so much understand how reselling works and why the reselling squirrel is now dead. I now fully understand that probably half of people or more, maybe 80% of people, they need explicit instructions for what to do in order to complete the task. And being that clear requires you to have a simple process. You can't say, go take photography for me. That is way too complicated, there's way too many steps. You could say, pick up the camera, it's on the left side. When you're done with the camera, take the SD card, put it in the SD card reader, unload or finish your listings. After your listing, take the SD card, put it back in the camera, put it back on the left, close the lid on the camera box. You could, if you're not that explicit, there will be steps missed. It's amazing how it's made me want to have as few processes as possible to prevent people from deviating. I have spent so many hours trying to make my shipping process simple, and still every single day there are so many questions when it comes to shipping, and I feel like I need to come back to the drawing board and make a much simpler process, because anything that's out of order multiplied by thousands of orders a day is a lot of problems. And for me, I have around 5 I misspoke in a different video. I have about 5 defects per 1,000 orders. It's not 50, that's way, if it was 50 per 1,000, I would be out of business. 5 per 1,000 defects, and it's just because if I'm not watching, something will just, like a little bit over, and then it's just like a huge mess. So I have to make sure everything is in line, and that's why I don't want to be reseller squirrel anymore. Reselling squirrel is too hard. It's just like you're everywhere and nowhere. I want to be in this specific, I've chosen to resell in this tiny place in the internet, and I just want to be good at this one space. And it's taking me so much energy to just be good at one little thing. So I don't want to be reseller squirrel. Being reseller squirrel is exhausting. It's so hard to be good at more than one thing. And in my group, everyone is talking so much right now about repairing, fixing, washing, reconditioning, all this stuff that people are doing to items. And it's so much, it's so overwhelming to have to treat every single item differently. There's so much to what we do, and yet so little. You can choose no reconditioning. You are the as-is reseller. You get it, you resell it in its exact condition. You do not change it. That's the simplest version, or you could be the total opposite and I recondition every item to where it's worth more than what it is when I got it. The Porsche company, RUF, that guy takes a used Porsche, adds his flair to it, it's now worth double what a brand new Porsche is worth. He puts that kind of spin on it. That's how powerful his touch is, right? And he can only work on one car at a time, and it takes several months. So think about that, right? Work on one item for several months, make a couple $100,000, or get an item as is, resell it for a couple of bucks, move on to the next item. Let me know in the chat where you guys are at, but I don't want to be a reseller squirrel. I want to be a reseller specialist. I want to be known as a liquidation expert. When somebody has too much stuff and need to get rid of it, I want them to call me. I don't want it to be people calling me for every single kind of thing. I want a very specific, you have a lot of one thing and you want to get rid of it, call me. I have tried the you have everything in the world, and I've resold those lots, that's insanely difficult. So difficult. I don't know if I want to be 1-800-GOT-JUNK. That's a totally different business model because I don't have a process for taking stuff to the dump, and I don't want to start that process. So I'm so happy with where I am right now. I don't want to be a reseller squirrel, and I just want other people to choose their level of reseller squirrel, but for me, I want to be as little as possible. I'm happy with where I'm at. So hopefully there are some questions from you guys in the chat.
Pascal's wondering, what is exactly the meaning of a reselling squirrel?
A reselling squirrel is someone that changes their process or what they sell or what they do every single day. And I was just talking to a friend of mine before this call and giving him my model for one item, right? We buy an item at X price, we try to sell it for X price more, and that really clarified it for me. We don't do everything where I resell. I only sell one way. We have a specific price we buy at, not to exceed this amount, and we sell it for this much or more. So I have a min-max. Have to buy it for this or less, sell it for this or more. It has to fit into how we ship things. It has to fit into how we present things. It's a very narrow way of reselling. Reselling squirrel means anything you got, I sell for a profit. And I don't want to be anything you got, sell for a profit, because it's just, there's way too many opportunities right now. There's so much stuff to sell, and everything out there is for sale, could be sold, and you could be the market leader in that specific thing. Right now I'm looking for a commercial truck. It's like the most wide, they'll ask you, what do you need the truck for? You tell them, and there's like 60 options for every single thing that you could possibly want to do with the truck. It kind of blew my mind how many people operate a truck in our country. I think it's probably 1 in 10 people. I wouldn't be surprised if 1 in 10 people who have a job in the US operate some kind of truck. It's just how everything moves everywhere in transporting, and I've just learned a lot in the last little bit, and I want to be really narrow. So I consider myself a creative, so like I like ideas, I'm an idea guy. But now I just want to use those ideas to fix the same problem. I don't want to fix a lot of different problems. I want to be creative and fix one problem. My problem is I want to sell 1,400 items or lots per day. That's my mission. So I want to use my creative to work on that. I think that's the right math.
Daniel is asking, is eBay still a viable selling platform, or is Whatnot the best option for resellers? Okay,
this is really wild. You ready? Whatnot has around, in my opinion, from going through the app and counting all the people, it only has 5,000 people shopping on it. Guys, that is like, that's like 5,000 people is not even, that's like a minor league baseball game attendance. It's a really small number of people versus at any given moment, there are millions of people on eBay. Millions of people every single moment, all day. Thousands and thousands of times more traffic than Whatnot. Whatnot is very difficult. I think you have to bring your own audience. I don't even think it works. Unless you bring in your own people, I don't think you can do Whatnot. It's like hard to just have your specific items and get any traction. You can build a really good following with no outside influence, but what you're doing is you're just capitalizing on having a great product and a consistent schedule, which works, but honestly, it's easier to have a fixed price marketplace like eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari, much easier. The Whatnot process requires several months of build up and being consistent. With eBay and Poshmark, Mercari, you can get a sale immediately. You don't have to wait, build up a following. Your first couple of streams are going to be really difficult.
Aki Beats says, what's the most important thing besides family, your business, and health to you?
That's a great question. So I'm doing this Brian Tracy example where you write down your 10 most meaningful goals. And I will say that right now my most important goal is this year is business, because last year it was baby. So this year, most important focus was baby. This year, I think maybe the first time ever, my most important priority is my business, and I want to have a mentorship that makes sense. I'm still working on the exact format, but I'm pretty close to where I want to go. This year is the year of the business because I feel like my kids are still small, and I spend about 4 hours with my kids every single day, and I'm kind of like going all in on the 8 hours that I have at work. I'm trying really, really hard to get as much as I can out of these 8 hours. So this year, the priorities are my business. I want to do X amount this year. I have a very specific income goal. Right under that is my wife. So last year, my wife and I didn't spend that much time with each other because we were raising 2 small kids. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So really, really hard. We basically put all of our effort and energy and love into those 2 kids. This year, it's us first. So business, my wife and I, we're going to do at least one fun thing every single week and one big date every single month. And this year, I'm spending a lot of vacation time. We have a lot of different vacations planned because we missed out on the pandemic. We missed out because the last few years we've had young kids, so we haven't been able to do much. So wife, then kids, and then that's pretty much it. The other hobbies I was thinking about is I've been consistent going to the gym now for about 1 year and 2 months, and I really, 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 really like having a trainer. It's so effective. Like, he is so disappointed in me if I don't go. So this entire time, I've only missed 2 out of over 100 sessions. I have a 98% or higher effective rate of training with the trainer, and I don't like wasting somebody else's time, so when I'm there, I try to do the best job that I can, and he charges me anyway. I would say maybe one more thing I'm working on is I'm doing occupational therapy with Lyra Health, where they sort of go over your psychology and make sure that you can do your job to the best of your ability, and it's honestly very hard. 3 times a week I get to check in with him and let him know what I'm doing to reach my goals, and if I don't do it, I get charged $150. It's the most accountability thing I've ever done. And it's this triangle. The stimulus happens to you, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Something happens to you, thoughts, emotions, actions. He's really oriented on that. Like, what happens in your day? Like, you're tired. That's the stimulus, right? You didn't get enough sleep. How do you feel? How do you think? What do? If you go home after a bad day sourcing, that's the stimulus, right? What are your thoughts and actions? Do you feel beat up because you didn't find anything today? Or do you feel like it's just part of the process? Sometimes I'm going to come up, sometimes I'm not going to find anything. And then those thoughts and emotions are natural, but the action part of it, you can actually control. But it's nice to know what kinds of thoughts and emotions you can have before that action. And the chart that I'm using is called My Emotional Well. Somebody put that in the chat, myemotionalwell.com. You can go on to that, and it will give you a really specific chart of how you feel. And usually how you feel is how you act. Okay, so it sounds kind of woo-woo. I don't know if in the chat if this sounds woo-woo to you guys, but it helped me identify what I'm feeling and what action it causes, and it helped me change my behavior pretty dramatically. That's why I don't want to be reseller squirrel. Because now the reseller squirrel, how it makes me feel, is disgusted. I don't want to be a reseller squirrel. I want to be creative on fixing one problem. I don't want to bounce around all these different things. It doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel bad. So I want to feel good or happy and fulfilled and accomplished. Those are also feelings. And I don't get that from being all over the place. I get it a lot more when I'm doing one thing over and over again. And so even though my group has become more focused, it's not squirrel brain. It's becoming more narrow. Everything I'm doing is becoming more narrow. And everything that I'm doing is yielding much larger results than it used to, because it's just like a magnifying glass on a specific spot instead of a full room of light.
Sleeping Elephant says, why not Trump shoes or Stanley Cups resell? Why don't they?
Wait, what is the first one? Trump?
Trump shoes?
Trump is, I don't even know who's running. If Trump is running, he'll probably win. I think that capitalizing on trends makes sense, but it's hard to get that supply. I would rather sell a brand no one knows about, but is a little bit popular. That's sort of my niche. I want to find products that are somewhat niche popular, but not mainstream. Mainstream means you can't get it. I'm trying to sell, hold on, let me do the math here. I'm trying to sell 1,200 to 1,400 items a day. Where am I going to get 1,200 to 1,400 Stanley Cups? You go to Target and you wait in line for 45 minutes to buy one. It's pretty brutal. It's really, really hard to get a Stanley Cup, right? The only place that I've seen that people have regularly been getting them is Whole Foods. You can go to Whole Foods and maybe get 4, right? But that's like hard. And you know what a Stanley Cup costs here? $45 plus tax. That is so expensive for a water bottle. And yes, they resell for sometimes $100, $125, but who knows when that's going to drop, the market's going to drop for that. I don't like selling things for over retail. I've been reselling for a long time. When I saw the Hatchimal thing, I can't forget that. Hatchimals, you guys remember those? Those eggs that hatched and an animal came out of it? And they were like $80 retail, and people were selling them on Amazon for $500. And I saw an Amazon return. Somebody returned it and said, unsatisfying hatching experience. And this guy had like 75% returns. Because like people were like pissed. Like, you're this guy that's like you're that guy. You're the person marking up Christmas toys. And so people were like buying them, opening them, and returning them just to stick it to this person, right? I don't want to be there. I want to figure out how to sell, not Lunchables, but Crissables, right? They're like this other form of, it looks like a Lunchable, but not a Lunchable. And it has a baguette and some prosciutto and some Monterey cheese, and it's a little bit more expensive than Lunchables, but like I got it on the low because it's gonna expire in 2 days. And I sell for half the price of Lunchables. That's like where I am in this reselling world. This tiny, like offshoot brand, not knockoff, offshoot brand. Like the clothes that I've been selling for about a year and a half now, those shoes are a mix between like, they're like a mix between Hoka and like Skechers. It's like a Hoka thickness, but a Skechers silhouette. Because they're kind of ugly, but they're like the perfect work shoe for somebody who's working at a place with a lot of fluids. Like if you're in the medical field or fast food industry, these are really good sneakers. That's where I like to play. Being in the big markets like Nike, Under Armour, that requires a whole different skill set, and I feel like it's tough to be in that Nike grind, going to the outlets, and I feel like when you are a Nike outlet seller, you have to go to the outlet forever, and for me personally, actually maybe that's not true. I think you can hire people to go to the outlet for you, but I just never understood that market because I don't like waiting in line. That was the main reason why I don't want to do the retail arbitrage, is I don't like waiting in line. I feel like I can make a lot more money sitting at a computer and calling people.
K-Sang says, you are correct. I did the Squirrel methodology and almost failed.
It's hard. You just get squished by a car. I just want to I'm okay being a reseller squirrel. I just want to be in my own tree, and I get my nuts from the same place. I have my cute little squirrel family. I don't want to be running across the road to another tree. I'm good. Maybe I am reseller squirrel through and through, but I like my tree. I like my little squirrel family. I want to just stay in the same place. Man, it's hard. It's hard. Right now I have a little acorn stash, and I'm trying to protect it. But you never know. Someone can cut down my tree at any time. So I'm a big fan of not feeling entitled or feeling like I deserve anything. I don't feel like I deserve anything because honestly, you can lose it. And I feel like if you feel like you deserve everything, you're not grateful. Like I feel like I do the right things and the result happens, but it's not guaranteed. Have you guys ever listed an item perfectly, good title, good photos, good item specifics, good price, still doesn't sell? I don't think it's guaranteed. You just gotta do the best you can.
Artie Mike's, or Midwest Picker says, I would like to get a deal with a supplier, but don't know where to start.
Me too. I'm working right now on trying to be a supplier's best bet, but it's not easy, honestly. And I feel like the only thing I can think of that makes a supplier work with you is that you spend the most money. That's really like the most common, spend the most money, most consistent, you come every week, rain or shine. The first 3 years of really kicking ass as a reseller, I went to the flea market every single weekend. And I feel like this coming every single week, spending money every single week. I was not the biggest buyer, but I always came and I spent a good amount. And I felt like that's how you start. You spend a good amount, you're consistent, you talk to your supplier, you see what their needs are. But honestly, supplier needs change. My biggest supplier at the flea market, when I said, you know what, I'm gonna move more towards new with tags. I'm not gonna buy used anymore. She said, okay. I was like, oh my God, I spend so much money here, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And she said, okay, not worried about it. I'll get another person like you. And I was just like, man, it took me years to get to this spot, and I was replaced in 1 second. So I just had another person text me saying that trust is so easy to destroy. And once the trust is gone, it's really hard to rebuild. So I think it is that saying, trust is built one strand at a time, and it's just so fragile. It's so easy to break, and it's so hard to build.
Artie Mike says, how are the shoes selling? Are you happy?
I'm always happy. I have about 8,000 shoes left, and I started with around 42,000. If I include all the different stuff I was selling, 42,000 shoes. I'm down to about 8,000 left. I think it'll all be gone before I close up shop here on March 31st. I think all the shoes will be gone. So in the new shop, I don't know what I'm going to be selling yet. I'm working on it now because, as you guys know, it takes time. So I'm moving into my new shop April 1st. I'm starting to buy now. It's the middle of February, right? So I got to get all my supply locked in now for a month and a half now, because actually it's probably too late to be getting stuff for April 1st. It takes a while. So I'm doing my best to get as much stuff as possible in the works so that my 11 employees, I'm never going to fire them for not having supply. That's my fault. So I need to make sure I have enough stuff for them to sell.
Yeah. Grimner says, does your post office scan each package, or do you have a sheet?
The post office scans every single package for me at the dock. So it takes them a long time, but I have a relationship set up so they scan every single package once they get it at the dock.
Artie Mike says, if you count 100 sales on Whatnot, how many are first time?
100 sales on Whatnot takes me 2.5 hours, so about 40 per hour. When I'm on stream, I average 40 auctions an hour, and that's the metric that I'm comfortable at. I know there are, we can go as low as 25 auctions per hour, which would take 4 hours for 100, and I can go as fast as 50 items an hour. But after that, it starts to decrease in price too much, so it's kind of like I tried hold on, let me see, 8 minutes. 60 divided by 8.
Sorry for noise, by the way. It's a little bit loud.
A little loud?
But it's okay. It's raining.
It's raining, and we're in a traffic area.
Yeah.
The most auctions I've ever done in 1 hour is 480 auctions in 1 hour, and the price was like $7, so very low. So something to consider, though. You can go really, really, really fast, but the prices are going to be quite bad, at least in my experience.
Vanessa's just commenting, I started doing a date night with my fiance once a week after you mentioned it in your last live.
I love it.
They have 2 kids too.
I love it. It's so hard with 2 kids, and
Yeah.
I love my kids so much. They're so cute and nice, but I got to get rid of them sometimes. My aunt loves babysitting, and my wife and I don't really like asking people for help. We try to do it on our own, but like, she's like, trust me, you're doing me a favor if I get to watch your kids for a couple of hours. And we just went last month, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It's really loud here. We had an hour and a half, and it felt like an eternity. We went to the restaurant, because my wife and I, we've just been so busy lately with the kids. We sat down, picked up the menu, figured out what we wanted to order. The person was coming, we're like, we want this, these 2 cocktails, handed it over, right? And then we're already like thinking about, like, here's the credit card for the check, here's your tip, right? And then like, we're like, the food comes, we're done eating, it's been like 17 minutes. We like went through this thing and we had an hour and a half to do the date, but we're like, because trying to go out with kids, they're like, it's intense. Because our kids, like, we do baby-led weaning, so like our kids, get to play with their food and eat it. And so like, I have to be ready like a hockey, what is the person called? Whatever the hockey person is in the net. I'm like catching all their food. I'm like wiping the floor. We prepare all our food before we go. It's super intense. So like going with just me and her, we were not used to that. We forgot how to do that. We were done way, way too early. So we went to In-N-Out. We got done quick, we left, on to the next thing. And we went and saw Hassan Minhaj. You guys know him, the comedian? He's awesome. So we're gonna try to go to at least one show a month and one date night a week. And my wife works super hard. We're in opposite careers, so her career, we take turns taking days off when the kids are sick or whatever, because we both want to have a career. So it is, I always kind of wonder in the back of my mind what it would be like if my wife and I were on the same team building this together. But she has no interest in reselling, so she has no interest in small business. So anything under 10,000 employees to her is small. She's like, why would you want to work for a company that affects so few people? When you're at a company with 10,000 people, when you make a change, millions of people affected. She likes to be in these high impact types of things. She's like, you do something and like 20 people notice. It's not it's just too small for her to care. So it just kind of opposite, but then also maybe that makes it so we can have a nice dinner, because what she does is so different than what I do, and we can talk about different things. I do wonder about that. Like the people who are on the same team crushing it, at dinner, do you say like, hey, what did you do today? And they're like, you were there. So I don't know. I don't know how many people in the chat you work with your partner all day, but I don't, and I don't know if that's good or bad.
Rich Carter says, how do you print a scan sheet on Whatnot?
At the end of the show, after you generate your labels, there's an option to print a scan form. So on the shipping form, once you generate all the labels, you can email the labels to yourself or view a PDF of all your labels or or print the scan sheet.
Pascal is saying, if you have a ton of goods to put online, selling all ASAP before summer with lower prices, and then most resellers and make okay profit, or simply spread it out and put online for the full year in same huge inventories. Sorry,
No, I got you.
Yeah.
So essentially, do you sell all your stuff quick for a low price, or do you spread it out over the course of a year? I think it depends. I have inventory that I wait a whole year to sell because I want $20 profit, and I have other items that I'll take $1 profit now. Let's get it out. It just depends on how hard it is to get it. You guys saw the clove deal that I got. I waited an entire year to sell all of it so I could get $20 profit on thousands of different items, right? But on some items, like I have another shoe brand that I'm not going to wait $20 for $20 profit. I have too many of them. So I'd rather just sell them all, move on to the next thing. It depends on how hard it is to get it. For these shoes that I have right now, they're not hard to get. So actually, after I made that YouTube video, all of them disappeared. There were a lot more for sale. But after I did the video, they got it all sold. So that's one downside. I was thinking about April 1st when I move into the new location. I thought about going radio silent for 3 years. Because it's a lease. I can't run anywhere. It's a 3-year lease, right? It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a lot of freaking money, right? So maybe I owe it to my business to give it my full attention for 3 years and not do any YouTube, right? But I really like helping people, so it's kind of this weird conundrum where I want to help people, but also like all these people are counting on me, right? My family, my employees, my staff, my customers. Should I really be like just talking randomly? Because right now I could be working and helping customers. So it's kind of a conundrum. Right now my YouTube and mentorship business are like 1% of my business. So it takes up a big chunk of my time trying to make content, but I like it a lot. I don't want to make content only for higher level resellers. My tribe is like people who don't know what they're doing and they want to make a full-time living or part-time income or get to this point where they can say, I'm satisfied with my reselling business. It's enough. I want to get people from wherever they are to enough. That's like where I like. The people who already have everything, it's not like as satisfying to help them. You know, I want to help people that don't have everything yet and they're working on it.
Michael says, hi Chris, I sell physical media, 6,000 plus listings currently.
Wow.
I list 30 a day and sell 18 a day on average, doing $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month gross. Any tips to take my business to the next level?
That's like a $15 average sale price if you're at 18 sales a day. So media is tough because it's very competitive. It very much is whoever has the biggest store wins, whoever has the fastest processes wins. So a lot of media sellers are uploading 50 to 100 to 200 to 500 different auctions per day. So I think the key to the media business is the fastest possible process you can and the deepest relationships that you can, because it's a volume game. It's really, really, really hard to be like a where you're at, like this 6,000 to 10,000 item store, because you're not big enough to really support yourself yet. You're almost there, but then you need like a lot more infrastructure to get to the point where you have enough space to do 20 or 30,000 books, and you have to find all the books and process all the books. The opposite would be like trying to find a really small, like 500 to 1,000 super rare bookstore. But I like what you're doing more than that, because that's like searching the ends of the globe for these rare books, and that model is really hard. I prefer the bulk model. I just think that media businesses work better in the like 20 or 30,000 items, because you can now afford a little help, you can get a better warehouse. A lot of things start to change when you get a little bit bigger. I would say like around 1,000 a day revenue is where you can really afford a lot of stuff. It is really, really bad weather here.
It's like storming now.
I don't know, it's literally like, for here it's hurricane weather. It's really bad right now.
The wall behind you is like crying water.
I don't know if they can see. It is like raining cats and dogs right now. We're in this weird gazebo outside.
Yeah. It was only drizzling when we were
It's so,
when we
I don't
came
know how
out here,
loud
but
it
now
is at home. It is pouring.
It sounds okay on my phone, but these mics are doing a great job. Let's see. So, I had one. Ernesto is saying, is it better to launch your eBay daily listings at the same exact time or spread them out?
It's the same, no difference. It's just about being consistent. Like the best time to work out is the morning, the best time to list your items is the morning, but if you work out in the afternoon or work out in the evening consistently, it has the same effect. Does that make sense, guys? It might be slightly better to work out in the morning than the evening, but not working out at all is the problem. Working out in the morning is just get it out of the way. But again, working out at midnight is okay as long as you're consistent.
Nikki says, do you recommend multiple platforms or master one at a time?
I recommend multiple platforms after you make at least $100,000 profit on one. Once you make $100K on eBay or Poshmark or Mercari, then if you want to cross list, I say go for it. Before that, I feel like it's like doing DoorDash and Uber at the same time. Like, if you have DoorDash and Uber open at the same time, there's like a good chance you're going to get one or the other, right? But I feel like they interfere with getting good at one of them. I don't know if that analogy makes sense for you guys, but like, it's a huge change to do like delivering food to delivering people. It's a huge change from sharing listings to optimizing promotions. That's so different for eBay and Poshmark that I feel like changing gears makes it hard to stay consistent. It's pouring.
Jordan says, do you also sell products on Amazon?
No, I had my remaining listings returned back to me because I didn't have enough to have it at different warehouses. I'm not opposed to selling on Amazon. I have a really good contact for brand new stuff, a good supplier. And oh man, this is kind of weird to say, but I feel like that should be my next thing. Not right now, but my next thing should be Amazon, because I really do believe you can only do one thing at a time. And Amazon has the traffic to do what I want to do. So many people shop on Amazon. So now that I'm a little bit more advanced in my career, maybe I'm smart enough to do Amazon. It's honestly though, I feel like being a great Amazon seller might be beyond my intelligence. It's really hard. It's like you got to know exactly what you're doing. You got to make sure your listing is optimized. It's ridiculously cutthroat. I don't know if I'm ready to play in that fish tank yet. I'm kind of just barely starting to figure out how to resell. Retail is so much more difficult. You can lose your business overnight. And with reselling, you can't really lose your business overnight if you have a good supplier, because you can just move to a different platform.
Jared says, how do you get back into the swing of things after a major setback in your personal life?
So this is the emotions and thoughts action triangle thing. Emotions, thoughts, actions. So you have a huge setback in your personal life, which is the stimulus that happened to you, right? So your thoughts and actions, it's going to be like, thoughts and emotions are really hard to control. You're probably feeling very sad. If you go to the My Emotional Well chart, you're probably angry, mad, sad, depressed, all that. Usually those don't create very positive actions. So I actually think that the way out of that is to do the action first and feel after. So for example, I've suffered death in my family, and it's really, really hard to go on. The only thing I can think of is to do get a routine going to try to take your mind off of it so that you can actually reflect. So it's like, if something bad happened to me, I'll go for a walk. And it'll allow me to process the bad thing that happened to me a little bit better. If something bad happened to me and then now I go sourcing for 2 hours, go to Goodwill, I start thinking about what's going on, I can now start to decompress and unwind a little bit. But I think that not doing anything is the worst possible thing when something bad happens to you. You have to get the motion going to create the right emotion. Because like sad and depressed and angry, I feel like they fester. Those emotions go more, you get more sad and more depressed and more angry. It doesn't heal itself. Happiness kind of just goes away, right? You're happy and then it'll kind of fade a little bit. But it doesn't you're not like happy and then happier and then crazy happy and then you explode, right? Usually doesn't go that way. But negative, it just keeps spiraling. I feel like you need to do something to move yourself out of that crazy personal bad thing that happened to you. And I don't want to be known as comeback king or like starting over guy, but like I have had so many setbacks and then I got to start over again. The only thing I can do is just get back on the horse and try.
Yeah. Kyle says, do you just rely on repeat buyers or simply Whatnot bringing in new customers, or do you market to bring in new customers?
We average around 800 new buyers a week. So a lot of new people are in our streams. I focus on new marketing, 100% focus on new marketing. I want to get 1,000 plus new buyers every single week on the platform. Really, really important to me. It's too hard to rely on Whatnot. As they say, there's too many resellers on Whatnot.
Virginia is asking, have you tried Penske for box trucks or Peterbilt for trucks that you can attach trailers?
That's a good question. A trailer actually does work. Tomorrow I'm going to have a trailer try. I've been using a flatbed stake bed truck, and tomorrow I'm going to try a trailer. I've never tried it before, so we'll see what happens. Also, I need to kind of understand the right insurance and bondage, because right now I actually don't know what happens if if I file a claim with my insurance about me taking the packages to the post office and having a problem. I mean, knock on wood.
the wet tree over. It's not working.
Knock on wood. I haven't had anything happen to my packages on the way to the post office, but I actually am going to check. I'm going to check with my insurance company and see what happens in case it gets destroyed on the way to the post office. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why you'd also want to get it scanned when it's picked up. Right? So as you get bigger, there's more problems.
Rich Carter is asking, is reselling on live stream platforms the future?
I think it'll be like QVC. So I think, you know how QVC, like lots of people shop in the middle of the night and they buy stuff for $70 that they don't need. I think Whatnot has its place in the resale world, but it will not take over. I honestly think eBay and Amazon, they took over. And there's little people taking a little bit of market share here and there, but honestly, it's not going anywhere. I could be wrong, but I don't see live streaming taking over because it's a really bad buying experience for looking for something specific. My wife was like, okay, I'm ready. I want to buy a pair of jeans on Whatnot. What do I do? I'm like, okay, let's go to Women's Contemporary. And she's like, okay, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, let's try to find somebody who's selling jeans. And you go down, this lady's selling jeans. Okay, ask her. She's like, oh no, I don't have your size. Go over to here. Oh, we don't have your style. Oh, we don't have your brand. It's like really hard to get what you're looking for. So you have to kind of be in the stream for a long time and get to know your host and try to do your best to get what you want. It's really hard to get what you're looking for. So I can't see live streaming surpassing fixed price marketplace. Because like, I shop on Whatnot for fun. I don't shop on Whatnot for what I need.
Yeah, it's definitely a different buying experience.
Yeah.
Kayla Shaw says, what are your fitness goals and what do you get out of it that benefits your reselling? Have you tried doing an ice plunge? If not, I highly recommend. I
haven't yet, but I'm down for it. I need to get an ice plunge, and I guess I'm down for just getting one of those big planters, those metal ones, and just diving in there in the ice water. My main goals are 15% body fat, and I want to be able to join I'm pretty much there, but I want to be in the 1,000-pound club because Hugh Jackman can do it, Wolverine. He was able to do it when he was 50 years old, and I'm getting up there. So I want to be able to do it when I'm 50 years old too. This year I turned 40, which is wild. And I don't know how many, I'm definitely on the back 9 of my life. So I want to just make sure I can live as long as possible. So my wife is younger than me, so I'm trying to give her unhealthy food and I'll eat healthy food so we can try to die at the same time. Because like Asian women live so much longer than men. So like I think it's really sad that she's supposed to live to like 90 and I'm supposed to live to like 70. And I'm older. So like that's really crappy. So my overall goal is to longevity, and I feel better when I'm lighter, so I'd like to lose about 5 more pounds.
Duncan VR says, hi Chris, why would someone be watching every item I list within the hour on eBay? They don't seem to be buying. Could be a troll?
No, it could be a bot. If there's certain keywords that are auto-following certain things, and then later the owner of the account goes back through and tries to see if they want to snipe anything. It could be a customer that really likes you and is making a big bundle for later. I wouldn't worry about it. Watchers never really affected me because they're not buyers. Watchers aren't buyers. They just give you the opportunity to send an offer to Watcher.
Question, better to list and go live, say 10 in one day a week, or schedule the listings so that 2 go live each day per week?
Two,
one big batch or like 2 every day?
2 a day.
Yeah. The salesman says, are we still in the reseller explosion that was experienced during the pandemic? Has competition slowed down? What is the percentage that you feel stuck with reselling versus the ones who moved on?
Way more people resell now than ever. There's just so many more goods. People are doing bad. Companies are doing bad. There's so much stuff for sale. So I don't think there's any less resellers than before. Are you guys in the chat? Are you seeing resellers drop off? I see new resellers every single day. Like, I don't advertise my reselling mentorship that much, but there's still so much interest from my YouTube channel of people asking me, is it too late? Is it too late? No, it's not too late. It's the best time ever. There's so many people that are doing bad. And it's like, we're not even to the worst yet. Like, I don't think we're at the worst yet, guys. Let me know in the chat what you think, but I don't think the shit has hit the fan yet. It hasn't. Because like, these crazy inflation rates where your grocery bill's like $200, I don't get it. That's like really hard. Normal people don't make enough money to have their grocery bill double. Their mortgage rate, if you're in an adjustable mortgage rate and your rate went up 2, 3, 4%, and now your gas is $50 more, people are gonna be selling all their stuff, doing fire sales. All their amazing collectibles that they've collected during the pandemic with free money, they're selling that back into the market now. During the pandemic was the biggest explosion of collectibles ever, right? And people need money now, so all those collectibles are going back into the market. I'm totally confident if you're trying to build a crazy Marvel collection right now, it's gonna all be coming back into the market in the next 5 years. I don't think I haven't seen, like in 2008, during that recession, I saw a lot of people lose their home. Like I wasn't like part of that situation, but a lot of people lost their home. That has not really happened yet. People are like, they haven't all, like, I feel like we're right there where houses start defaulting, car loans start defaulting. Did you guys know the average car loan is 8 years now? Like 8 years to pay off a car. So I feel like we haven't hit that rock bottom yet. But I do know that like at Bed Bath & Beyond, you can finance $10. Whenever I buy something now, it's like, do you want to finance? Even if it's $10. So it's an interesting time right now.
Angie is asking, do you think it's important to have business insurance for the items you are reselling?
Yes, if they're new. If they're used, I don't think so. I think you should have a general liability policy. I don't know how insurance companies pay out used items. I think they don't. So it's hard to prove what a used item is worth. So those are really hard to pay out.
A question from AA. Would you recommend daily payouts on eBay, or weekly or monthly are better?
Daily or weekly? Yeah, daily or weekly. I was doing weekly payouts for the majority of my career, but I've switched to daily. It's too scary leaving the money in there.
Will is asking, do you think auctioning some items starting at 99 cents to increase sell-through rate is a good idea? I've heard eBay gives you more traffic if you have a higher sell-through.
They do. I recommend starting the item at the lowest price you are willing to accept. I start my items at $1 because I'm okay with them selling for $1. There's a crazy flood watch right now, so we got to be careful driving home.
Artie Mike says, what is the return rate on Whatnot? Do the customers get free returns?
There's no returns on Whatnot. I have very, very few returns. I've had under 100 returns the whole time I've been on the platform, and I've sold like 250,000 things. So there's just basically no returns. If the customer is unhappy, Whatnot will accept the return. But there's no returns on the platform.
The salesman says, what is the best way to liquefy inventory that needs to be moved ASAP on eBay? I think you just put a video out on this. It's like the extreme sold method. I just made
an extreme sold video. There's about a 10-step process to sell your stuff for as much money as you can. Obviously, the best way is every single item in your store, 99 cents free shipping. But you would lose money, right? So to lose the least amount of money, look up my extreme sold method.
Virginia made a comment. You will need a commercial license. I think she's talking about the truck. I remember my client would pick up a load and then drop it off somewhere else. He got into an accident because a driver tried to swipe him and her car was totaled.
Yeah, certain trucks require a commercial license, CDL, and some do not. So yeah, that's a good distinction. Thank you for bringing that up.
Super Sheep just has a comment. You can finance beers at the pub, and it's wild.
I did not know that. Do you guys know of any restaurants that let you open a tab? Do you guys even know what that is? Like when I was a kid, we went to some diners and they would let you open up a tab. Have you seen that?
Like at bars, you open up a tab.
Well, but without your credit card.
Oh.
Just like, we got you. But yeah, that's, I can't believe you can finance beer.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's actually a really, really good idea. Because people spend more money now on experiences than they do on stuff. So like, you want to go to Disneyland? They probably have that, right? They probably have something that, is it just your credit card, or is there like an actual thing that you can go to Disneyland and finance it? I bet they have that, and it probably works really well.
They should. Disneyland tickets are so expensive. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
They say the best way to be successful on eBay is to join the Daily Refinement Daily Call.
Thank you. I do have a good idea for the format. If there are any systems administrators out there, essentially what I want to do, this is kind of the direction I'd like to move, but I don't know how to exactly do it. I would like everybody to come up with one weekly thing that they are working on. So let's say you're working on your photo station, or your listing, your title structure, or your item specifics, or your pricing. I would like to somehow, I only want about 1,000 people in the group. I want them to check in on Monday with what they want to improve, do work for the week, and the next Monday have the same check-in. I'd like to have that built into some kind of system so I can record it, because people don't realize how far they've come. Wow, it is way quieter now.
The rain just
It was
suddenly
raining
went down
like
a little.
crazy earlier.
I know, you and I have been shouting at each other because
Yeah,
we
we've
can't
been
hear
shouting.
each other.
But yeah, it's pretty. What was the question? Oh yeah, I want to have that system so that people can update their goals once a week, so they can see how far they've come. Like if you think about where you can go, this, to the moon. But if you think about where you came from, I think it grounds you a lot more.
Mouse Hunter says, when buying a collection, do you recommend each item is $20 profit per item? When buying a collection of things?
It depends. Like, it depends on how much it is per item. For me, I like to spend maximum 100. Well, actually, let me see. Ideally, I would spend 20 to make 20. On a collection, I don't feel like that's going to happen. It's going to be more like spend 100 to make 20. That's just how you roll when you buy those big high-ticket collections. They don't want to let you double your money. But you can say that. You could say, you know what, I need to be able to double my money, and some people will go for it.
The salesman said, I recently auctioned off a pair of pre-owned Jordans that have an average sale price of $89. I was surprised to see mine only sold for $20. I had solid pictures, great listing specifics. Was it because I was not able to authenticate them?
Sometimes. That's why I kind of stay away from sneakers that require authentication now. It's just too much hassle. It can be hard because, especially with not doing a high volume, to absorb those problems. Even if you have an authentic pair of sneakers, you can still have problems.
Javier says, what platform gives you the best margin?
eBay, by far, way the best margins. Although it is, it's hard because now the promoted listings game has changed a bit. But on Poshmark, you got charged 20%. On eBay, if you're really kicking butt, then you can get it down to like 15%. And I feel like you could charge a little bit more than Poshmark because there's more customers. So you could have a little bit less fees and a little bit more revenue on eBay. I think eBay is number one for pre-owned items by a long shot.
Billy says, a truck with air brakes requires a CDL. Most box trucks have hydraulic brakes.
Interesting.
But Lee says, depending on the size of the truck, a commercial license isn't necessary. Over a certain size, you will not need one. I have a Class A.
See.
Virginia,
How many people are in the chat?
I don't know, actually, because OBS doesn't tell me.
So let's just, I don't know how many people are in the chat, but 10% of those people, I bet you know something about commercial trucks. That's my thought.
241 people in here.
Okay, so at least 24 people in the chat, you guys know something about commercial trucks. Or have one, or you're a driver.
Virginia says it's very common in Vegas to open a tab, and some bartenders leave a glass so they can leave their money in there and keep it coming.
Nice.
Omar says, what about selling on Facebook Marketplace?
It's fantastic. The only problem is some people don't come. So you gotta have a backup on a backup on a backup. I personally like saying first come, first serve, and I'll let people know. There's somebody coming at 6. If they don't want it, you can have it at 6:30. What I don't like is everybody come at 6 o'clock and get it. I personally don't do it that way, but you guys let me know in the chat if you do it that way. I just feel like it's not respectful to do it that way. Have you guys ever, I don't know, what do you think? I think if people want to buy it, they should get their own time slot and an opportunity to buy it. It shouldn't be like a,
everyone just
at
comes.
6 o'clock, everyone comes at the same time and you throw it into the cold and they try to get
like
it.
a bouquet toss.
Like a bouquet toss, yeah. I think that's totally not cool.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't show up on Facebook Marketplace. That's the main concern. You could charge first. Some people do that. Like, hey, but it's also like kind of weird to pay first if you're meeting up with somebody. It kind of seems like a scam.
Right, yeah. Michael says, is there a point in which a seller can negotiate category fees and or shipping prices with eBay?
Yes. It depends by category, but they will always negotiate fees. Some people might be surprised to hear that, but they will always negotiate fees.
And we've been going for almost an hour, so maybe a few more questions.
Okay.
Duncan is asking if you got your eBay account back.
I did not.
No.
I wonder how long I have to wait. Could be a while.
Yeah. I believe, so Whatnot is your main platform now, right? Because you closed
Close Poshmark.
Yeah.
Is actually I still have Poshmark open, but I only have 6 listings. So I'm only selling clothing. I took off the clothes. So if you guys want to buy some vintage stuff, I have it on Poshmark. But currently, all Whatnot.
Yeah. Lee Brown says Facebook Marketplace is a lot of ghosting also.
Yep.
So do you have to meet up for Facebook Market? You can't ship it?
You also can. You
Oh,
can
okay,
ship
okay.
it, but I feel like the power of it is just like the local.
I
You
see.
can ship as well. If you decide to go that route, it does really well.
Yeah. Solomon says, I just started listing on eBay about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
I haven't gotten one sale. I have 2 items with 535% STR. What am I doing wrong?
Price, pictures, title, item specifics, return policy.
Could be a variety of things.
Any one of those things or all of those things.
Yeah.
So good item, good price, good return policy should be good. If one of those is wrong, 500% sell-through rate, but your item is priced too high, won't go for it. 0 feedback, people might worry. So I think you really should get around 10 feedback on eBay before people start trusting you. So this is just up to you, but I would prefer if you're just starting on eBay to buy 10 things and sell 10 things. Just sell it at a price where it's a no-brainer for somebody to get it, and that way you can get 20 feedback under your belt.
They're saying that they have good picks, a great title, competitive pricing, free returns, and offers.
I had to see it. It
Yeah.
sounds like something is wrong because it should sell.
Let's see. Pam is asking, why did you close Poshmark?
I just sold out. So all the clothes that I had on there, I sold all of them. So as I get more stuff, I'll put it back on there. So I have more sneakers that I should put on there, a different brand, not Kariyuma, that I should put on there actually. I might throw those on there.
Midwest Picker says, why does it seem like the more I list, the more traffic I get on my items?
Because eBay gives you a certain tier of traffic for how many items you list each day. So if you list 10 items a day, you get 10 item a day traffic, right? But if you list 10 items a day, then 0, then 10, then 0, your traffic looks like this as far as new traffic going into your store. And I believe that produces inconsistent results. It's like you're more consistent if all 7 day schedules is the same. But if every single day you have a different schedule, it's more difficult for everybody around you to predict what you're doing. And eBay is an algorithm. So you don't want to do something different every single day. They wouldn't know how to feed you traffic.
Duncan says, do you miss the train sounds from your old storage unit?
No. But if you guys miss it, you can watch Dolls Kills Whatnot, and they're right by the train tracks. So it's like every time I miss it, I can just log into their stream and Every few minutes, a train goes off, and it's loud. It's even louder right there because they're in front of the train. But I don't miss it. I like quiet.
Solomon is asking, do new sellers get throttled?
No. New throttles actually get a boost. There's like a bunch of like companies that will create a new eBay account for you so you get that new member boost. But I feel like that's so silly because creating a whole new eBay account is so much work. Just get consistent.
Javier says, do you think listing on eBay by importing from Excel sheet is best? How do you do it?
1 by 1 is best.
Michael says, Chris, huge shout out for all your help. Seriously, you've been the driving force behind my resale career taking off. I can't thank you enough. Sending loads of love and respect your way.
Thank you, thank you. 2 more questions and then we gotta go.
The salesman says, do the majority of media sellers on eBay have commercial/bulk label pricing from the post office? Because I don't get how anyone makes money selling CDs at $2 with free shipping.
At about 250 items per day, you can start negotiating rates. So the $2 free shipping model doesn't work solo. They are relying on selling 4, 5, 6 books in one bundle. They lose money if somebody buys 1 book at 2 free shipping. Hopefully that makes sense. But those stores are designed for bundling. So I go into those stores all the time. They have great coupons. Buy 3, get 1 free. Buy 5, get 2 free. It really encourages you to buy more than one. The 2 free shipping loses money if it's just one. Remember that. You got to look at someone's whole business.
Cho Xiang says, what is a good sell rate? A week, a month, 90 days? I just started 3 weeks ago with Mercari selling plushies that I get at 25 cents each. I sold 10 plushies so far with a $10 profit each after fees.
Amazing. I love to hear it. The plushie market is fantastic. Good sell-through rate. Depends on what you're selling. Might be same day, might be same week. A normal retail sell-through rate is 10 months, is normal. Anything faster than 10 months would be considered good. I'm sorry, above normal, above average, right? Anything slower than 10 months would be considered below average. Average is 10 months. 10 months is like 0.2% sell-through rate a day. You have 1,000 items in your store, you sell like 2 to 3 items a day would be normal. 1,000 items in your store, sell 2 to 3. I feel like that's really hard to make enough money though if you're a reseller. 1,000 items selling 10 a day, 13 a day, that's way better. And we'll call it.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you guys.
Yep. See you
Excited
guys.
for things to come. And we'll see you guys soon.